Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am so grateful to be here, and I am so glad to be here. $20, money, $20. Most of us have had one in our wallet this week. Probably spent it on lunch, gas, maybe a tip for a server. But the face on this bill didn't earn his place here by being popular. He earned it by being willing to stand alone, even when the people closest to him paid the price. Andrew Jackson. He was orphaned at 13, no father, no mother, no safety net, just grit. In his 20s, he met Rachel, and from that moment, he was all in. He loved her with everything that he had. She had escaped a first marriage, an abusive one, but the divorce wasn't properly finalized because of some state laws or some state boundaries. But she and Andrew didn't know that. They married her believing she was free. But political enemies used that paperwork to destroy her reputation. In newspapers across the country, they called her a bigamist, an adulteress, right before the 1828 election. So, what did President Jackson do? What did Andrew Jackson do? He stood up publicly, fiercely. He fought duels over it, literally. I mean, one man shot him and the bullet lodged so close to his heart the surgeons couldn't remove it. He carried it in his chest the rest of his life, without complaint, without wavering. And then he won the presidency in a landslide. But the attacks had broken Rachel's health. She died just weeks before the inauguration, before she ever set foot in the White House. He walked in alone. And on her tombstone, he wrote, "A being so gentle and so virtuous, slander might wound, but could not dishonor." Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Everything that he did. You've probably heard the phrase attributed to him called where it said, "One man with courage makes a majority." It's been repeated many times. He never said it. In fact, in 1860, a biographer named James Parton published this massive 3-volume life on Andrew Jackson. And on the title page of every volume, he put this as the epigraph: "Desperate courage makes one a majority." He meant it as a criticism. Parton thought Jackson was, and I'm quoting the historian who uncovered this, a headstrong ignoramus whose desperate courage overrode other men's good sense. And then something remarkable happened. This is important. History got hold of that phrase, stripped out the word desperate, and softened the edges. And what one man wrote as an insult became one of the most quoted lines about courage in American history, cited by Robert F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, generations of leaders who never knew it started as a knock. The critic's insult became the hero's legacy. So I want you to sit with that word, desperate, for a second. When you're standing alone for something that truly matters, a covenant, a family, a calling, of course, it looks desperate to the people watching from the sidelines. It always does. And courage looks desperate until it works. Jackson didn't wait for a majority to form before he acted. He acted. And then the majority formed around him. That's what leadership looks like. That's what legacy looks like. And that's what love looks like. The next time you hold a $20 bill, remember a man who took a bullet near his heart, not in a battle for territory, but for the honor of the woman he loved. And he carried it his whole life without complaint. A man his critics called desperate, reckless, a headstrong ignoramus. A man whose desperate courage became the quote presidents reach for when they need to talk about standing alone. I don't think you'll ever look at a $20 bill the same. And you'll have $20 bill moments. The next time someone calls you reckless for standing alone, for a covenant, a conviction, a calling, whatever it may be, you're fighting for your vision, maybe just smile. They may be writing your legacy as a criticism. They just don't know it yet. Desperate courage makes one a majority. Let's go big this week. Begin in gratitude. Make it a meaningful week. And I'll see you right here next week. Bye-bye.